All right, another busy day in the books. I'm sorry I didn't get to make a video lesson yesterday for everybody. There's just so many freaking stocks moving. It's really a great market, but I get a little overwhelmed between my own trading and watch lists and commentary, and I'm working on stocks to trade all the time, and I'm actually working on a new guide that's going to help you plan every single trade that I hope will come out in a few weeks. So I'm sorry, but today I gotta just go over this because there's so many plays. EBIO, probably the best looking chart with this nice breakout today. This was on my watch list last night, if you read it. And I just missed it. It was a clean breakout right in here from the get-go above 145. I got to give props to Mark Crook. Where is he? I have so many tweets. Mark Crook, for those of you who don't know, is this it? Yeah, the Honest Crook. He's my chat moderator in my Trading Challenge chat room. I actually have two chat rooms. I don't know if you guys know this, but my Trading Challenge is much more for dedicated students. They also get several live weekly webinars from Mark Crook, myself, Tim Grittani, and Michael Good. And Mark Crook is really the moderator of that chat room, and he also gives exclusive trade alerts. And, this was his just awesome 9:45 a.m. Alert where he bought it at 143. Roughly a half hour later, he had over $2,000 in profits. He sold some a little too early. He was like beating himself up. I was like, dude, you just made $2,000 in like 30 minutes. And he's like, I know, but it could have been $5,000. He's up about $550,000 now in a few years. He's aiming for the $1 million, but like I told him, you don't have to force it, okay? If you make $2,000 in an hour, that's fantastic. And he sold into the meat of the move. And congrats to all of you. I was just too busy with other plays. CLF closed strongly yesterday, and I thought that it was actually going to be a nice breakout today, but no dice, so I cut losses quickly. I lost like 10 cents a share. Not the end of the world. It actually could have been worse. It could have been, like 20 cents a share. And now, I'd be actually up a few cents a share. But long story short, whether I make or lose 5 or 10 cents a share on a $2, $3, $4, $5 stock, it's a scratch. The stock did not do what I wanted. So I get out. Small loss, small gain, it does not matter to me. And I know this is very strange, but this is how I view trading. And you will see that over the past, 18 years, I have lots of scratches, and they don't move the needle on my net worth or my income one way or the other. And I should mention, for the small group of people that think, oh, Sykes just wants to make 5 cents a share and then he gets out, I lose money either way if you factor in the costs associated with me sending out alerts to everybody. Because, frankly, I'm a teacher and I trade with a very small account in order to teach. Okay, my goal is not to have the biggest dollar profits with my small account. If I wanted the biggest dollar profits, and if I really wanted to buy 50,000 shares and make 5 cents a share, I could do that, and I would be a trader only. I would not teach, and it would be very useless to you guys. And I know a lot of big traders do that, and they don't really provide anything to the community. They trade, they keep their secrets, and that's not what I want. So if I make or lose 5 or 10 cents a share, it's a scratch for me. And trading with a small account, I think, really helps show that. The way that I've really built my account this week was on MGT, buying it in here in the 240s, and it went all the way to the 280s or 290s, actually. I was out in the 260s and 270s, but, making 10, 15% in a few days, that is me being dead on. And that's why I had a nearly $2,000 profit. So even if you factor in the cost of text message alerts, I think I might actually have a small profit on that. But that is my goal, okay? Sometimes I'm not always going to be right. Yesterday I was buying XGTI at 17 cents, and I thought that it could morning spike. We got a little spike, but it failed. And I basically scratched. I made a penny a share. Again, after text message alert costs, I think I might have lost a few $100s. But today was a delayed spike up to 19 cents. Even now, I'd still only be up 2 cents a share. It did not do what I wanted, so I get out. And this is very, very important. Today, also, I had BWEN, where I was buying it. Actually, it spiked up pre-market. This was actually kind of a good lesson. It spiked up pre-market on news of the big contract up to 540, and then it was coming down, and had some support here at 5-ish, and then it went to like 520, 530, right near the open. But it came down also, and it broke this support at 5, and I was buying it in the 490s on this big dip right here. And a lot of people ask me, it broke support. Why are you buying this? Well, I was thinking that it could get back to the 540 level. So I don't want to chase a stock. Sometimes people just like buying stocks when they hit new highs, but this is a tough kind of play. Energy stocks, I don't really chase. I like to dip buy. So buying it in the 490s actually turned out to be the perfect opportunity to profit, at least for the first hour of the day. You could have made money, and it could not get back to 540, let alone 530. And then it kind of like triple topped here at 530-ish. So I was out in the 520s. I made roughly a quarter a share. So 5%, nothing huge, but I minimized my risk by dip buying as opposed to chasing. Too many of you guys only want to buy the day high. When it's an energy stock, I'm a little more conservative. So some people think my strategy is very simple, but you miss out on the subtleties and small things, and it costs you. I do have a pretty simplistic strategy, but I have picked up a few things over the years, and I do utilize them to increase my odds of success. And the key to my odds of success on this was not chasing it at 530, where if I had bought it, I would have lost. Instead, I waited for some panic when the morning low got taken out in the 490s, and that was nice. So the BWEN trade wiped away my losses on CLF, and then I had one other trade, MBRX. This was like a recent IPO. This one was a little sketchy. I dip bought it because it basically dropped, nearly $2 a share. And IPOs that drop like that, sometimes they can bounce pretty nicely. And so I was buying it in the high 7s, and we did get a bounce up to 850. I didn't get a chance to sell right there, and midday 830s. I was out at 820-ish, and I made like 20-30 cents a share. So it didn't bounce as much as I wanted, but it would be very difficult for me to lose. I bought it at 785. So if you dip buy into pure panic, as long as there's like a good catalyst. I mean, this company's in the same sector as CPXX, which recently got bought out. So there was some potential for other chat rooms and big traders to notice it. It just didn't work out exactly the way I wanted. That happens. But by dip buying it, I protect myself. And when I'm dip buying it, in the 780s, if it keeps making new lows, I just get out and I cut losses quickly. It's very scary to try and catch a falling knife. So you have to manage your dip buys very well. And I would have done that if I needed to, but I didn't need to. So I had a few $100 profit on MBRX, a few $100 profit on BWEN, and I lost like 200 on CLF. So those were my trades today. But more importantly, Mark Crook nailed EBIO, and that was the play of the day, and I missed it, and it happens. But I got to give props to students. Jared, also shorting OPTT. I wanted to do it, but frankly, I just missed it. So I miss trades, and I want you to understand that. I don't want you to think that I'm like this perfect trader. I missed this great short too, and there were shares to short. I believe Interactive Brokers had shares to short, and Jared nailed it, shorting 1,000 shares at 585, covering at 535, making 500, and then he nailed the EBIO. At 148, out at 192, $880 profit. So he made $1,300 in 45 minutes. So awesome job, Jared. Mark Crook, I just got to thank him so much. Here's Joe. This was awesome because he bought the EBIO breakout at 153, sold it at 188 while loading cows onto a semi. That is freaking awesome. I love hearing stories about where you guys are trading from. Aside from just the money that you can make and, kind of how cool it is to really be a trader, you can do it from anywhere. And I'm constantly amazed that where people are doing this from. Marcus made 160 shorting, and he's starting with a small account. And as I reminded him, small things lead to, some big things later on. Great big things have small beginnings. So don't ever feel bad if you're starting small. And you don't even have to trade, make $160. That's not life changing. But the knowledge of how to short OPTT and making, 80 cents a share, that's a good trade. And this was my tweet that I truly believe, and this was me in Mexico a few days ago. Life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it. So I think this holds very true in the stock market. You see the news. A lot of people just want to try and judge the stock and value the stock based on the news. With me, I want to see the news, but then I want to see how the stock reacts to that news. And that's more important for me, and no different for you guys as a student. You're watching this video lesson. That's fine. That's cool. But how will you react to it? Will you be like, oh, another day, another random stocks move, Tim's speaking a language I don't understand? Or will you react and say, oh, wait a minute, this is more proof that look at Tim and all of his students who are, capitalizing on this. Maybe I should take some action and actually study this stuff with Tim's DVDs or webinars or video lessons. These kinds of daily recaps should not be the end-all be-all of your studying. They are not the end-all be-all if you truly want to be a successful trader. You have to study a lot. You have to prepare. And then you have to put that stuff into action too. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to do. It's a question of how you react right now as I'm talking about this. Here's Javier. He had a slow day at the office, made $260. Here's Eric. I love this because, he nailed EBIO for 1,300, but then he also had 2 small losses. And just like me, it's good to accept the fact that you're going to be wrong sometimes, and small losses don't really matter as long as you cut them. And Eric did a fantastic job. He's building his own house with his trading profits. He lost 230 and he lost 140, but he made 1,300. So overall, he's plus 1,000. And this is a very, very good lesson for you guys. You don't need to be right all the time. In fact, you probably won't be. It's impossible to be right all the time. So just congrats to all these guys, Joe, Marcus, Mark. Here's Noob Stock. He actually nailed AKAO. AKAO was a great morning spiker. I hear some people say, oh, you should never buy stocks right at the open. Well, then you would miss this. And it went from 3 to 6 if you acted quickly. I had too many other plays. There was no chance that I was even going to catch this. But I know some people who did. And Noob Stock Trader did. So I don't know what kind of morons out there are saying never buy stocks at the market open. But sometimes if you get a low float stock with good news like AKO had, you nail it and you get it at the open. Because otherwise you're going to be too late. And that's not to say that I would chase it after a stock goes from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6. It was actually better for the shorts later on. But if you were quick, there were some trades. There were, 200, 400,000 shares traded for the first 2 minutes where you could have bought this stock in the 3s. So props to him. Luca Trade also, I got to give him props. He actually had a better exit on BWEN than me. He got out right at the top of 530. He recognized the wall of sellers. I also got to give props to so many of these students. Jess made $523 in AKO, $162 in BWEN. Dr. Trader 91 was in and out on BWEN right at the top also. And then bought again at 5, but a stop loss took all the profits. It's okay. Johnny Hunt, 3 weeks of studying and just started paper trading today, in at $4.99 out of $5.29. Good. He says, thanks for everything, brother. It's my pleasure, Johnny. Here's Hellacious, was trading PPHM, $300 profit on that one and $1,100 on the day. And this was at 9:58 a.m. So I show you this stuff not just to brag, like, look at all my students doing well, but to give you examples, statistics right in front of your face of traders who are learning to play this volatility in banking. Here's Maki thanking the chat room for EBIO. Hey, Maki, it was on my watch list too. I should have done that, but at least I had on my watch list. Here is Anin, 2 trades in at 146 out of 187 on EBIO. The Mellow Trader, day 3 as a challenge student, small position, in at 156 out of 191. Awesome job. And here's Mark Crook, with his chat room commentary. I copy and pasted it, and he made 2,000. He's like, should have been 4,000. Don't get greedy, Mark Crook. Remember, I found you in a cubicle, and 2,000 would be like, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks salary for you. So congrats, but you got to keep everything in perspective. A lot of the time, you're going to sell too soon. Sometimes you're going to miss it. I totally missed it. And guess what? It's okay. This is not an exact science. Here's my JoJo. Thank you, Tim, for keeping on the watch list. Made my biggest gain today on EBIO, $286. Here is Vice Rock EBIO in at 167, out at 207, made $850. Awesome job, Vice Rock. Here is a comment. I like this guy, O Garrido, and he was in EBIO at 166, out at 177. Great safe trade, made $400, doubled what he makes in a day at work, which is awesome. And then here's the Swede. This is Jonas. I didn't even get a chance to look at this yet. Let's see. Oh, here's Jonas. Beautiful. He's trading from Europe, and he made a few $100. Good job. Here's Brent Hendricks. CLRB was another spiker today. Oh my God, I totally missed CLRB. We're in like play overload, and you had $1 a share of upside, several different runs. This is just a volatile stock that's spiking right now, and we got a lot of them. So it's like fire at will, but you got to be prepared. And here were some from yesterday that I just want to give quick props to. True Green, shorted APHB at 314, covered at 221, making nearly $1 a share. That's a fantastic short, APHB. I missed that one. I missed plays left and right. This is part of the reason why I got into teaching, because I recognize that I'm only really the tip of the iceberg with my $4 million. Here's Gelzinga, made 1,000 on MGT morning spike yesterday. Escabrera made 385. Mind Sculptor banked on OPTT, which was a spiker yesterday. I missed that. I think I should just have come out with like missed alerts, and you'll see that while I take a few of them, I'm missing probably like 7 or 8 out of 10 trades right now, because I simply cannot keep up, which is a great problem to have. But I want you to realize it's not because I'm like a bad trader. It's because there's so many plays right now, and it's overwhelming. And for me, it's not just making a trade. It's making a trade and then, writing commentary about it, sending out alerts. Like, there's a lot that goes into every trade for me. So that slows me down, which is fine. I've learned that my students don't like getting 50 text messages in a day. Here's Present Profit, made $556 on OPTT. CP218 made like 5% on OPTT. Money was in at 555, out at 625, made $75 in 45 seconds. I'm trying to like amortize that over the course of the year. That's a lot of money. Ramster in at 4, out at 612, 3,000 shares. So a nice little $6,000 profit there. Freaking awesome. Killer Beats followed my low float stock perfectly, and CBMX in at 370, out at 438 on a small $1,000 account. Awesome. And then Uberbane made like 1,500 on the dip buy in OPTT yesterday. And today, OPTT got crushed. So in the past few days, both OPTT, I just want to say yeah, you know me, OPTT, had the big spike and the big crush, and the same thing with APHD. Not APHD. What was it? Oh, APHB. My bad. So the big spike and then the big panic the next day. So enjoy it, okay? This will not always be the market conditions. And those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you should study at night. You should utilize the nighttime and become better prepared for all these plays. Watch my How to Make Millions DVD. It is comprehensive, and it talks all about these patterns. So get on your game. Congrats to everybody who's banking or learning. Plays galore. I'm going to go get a massage right now. I'm exhausted. I'll see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Live well. Prosper.